And are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
So in these last few months, I feel like I'm okay with it. But in general, on average, no, I don't think I've been. I don't think I've been happy with it. I wanted more close friends, and I would want them to be around where I can see them easily on a regular basis. My ideal living situation is some sort of like a community living where everyone has like a common public space that everyone ends up having to, and by everyone I mean these are like people who are good friends, right? And so kind of like an adult version of having roommates, except instead of rooms, these are all individual apartments. Everybody has their own space and all of that, but then maybe there's like a giant common kitchen or a giant common area where everyone meets up at the end of the day and eats a meal together and chit chats and things of that sort. So yeah, I am in that category of people. And I was actually surprised in the interviews. I thought more people might say that, but I think in the first season, I think everyone more or less said that no, they're fine with the way things are. So I think I hadn't realized how unusual I am in this regard. But yeah.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
So I guess we can always use more friends, but yeah, I would say generally. One thing that I've had a discussion with people, I'm not sure this is necessarily a good thing, but sometimes I use this phrase that being an academic is not a job, it's a lifestyle. And sometimes I guess I do wonder that all my friends are academics, right? Or researchers at least. I mean, not academics in the sense they work for a university, but they're research people. And I don't really have any circle of friends outside of doing science. But that's what I enjoy. I like talking to scientists, even when we're not talking about science, because like I said, they're more rational thinkers. And I've gotten in trouble with my sister before because it's just like, okay, I can't talk to you because you're not an academic thinker. I don't want to be around people like this. I need to live in my bubble of these scientific thinkers that I get along with well. So sometimes I think it's sort of sad that some people have things outside their life like sports or religion or something else where they have a circle of friends that don't relate to their job. And I don't. All my friends are basically academics. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I actually enjoy, living in that bubble.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
I think so. I mean, like, things are certainly different now than they were in university or than they were during the PhD, and just like people in general have less time, I think, and there's less of the just like, I don't know, there's less downtime with people of just kind of like hanging out without a purpose to it. I think I miss some of that, but I don't know. I do find it's generally pretty easy to reconnect with old friends when we run into each other, and maybe we don't sort of hang out as much as we used to, but it's so I don't know. That's not really an answer, but some scattered thoughts.
Maybe pre-NeurIPS or post-NeurIPS.
Yeah, like there's the sort of the opportunities that there are to like just go hang out for a few days before a conference or after a conference. Like it seems that there's still a sort of a group of people who are up for doing that, and we do it. It feels like old times. So yeah.
Are you happy with the number of close friends that you have?
Yes, in a sense that I do have a few small number of, let's say, close friends that I can easily talk to and so on. But I'm a bit less happy in that that group has been evolving quite rapidly in my case, because I've been moving around quite a bit, and then I've lost touch with many of the close friends from early years. And I have now that you mention it, actually, I feel really bad that I haven't really checked on any of them from, let's say, from my days in Korea or Finland during this pandemic era. And I think the people tend to crave for the human touch and some kind of contact. definitely should actually reach out to some of them. But for the people that I talk to more regularly, yeah, I'm pretty happy. It's not a large but a small clique of my friends, but they tend to be all pretty generous, very kind, and then they tend to be transparent. At least I feel like they're being transparent, which makes it easier for me to be transparent. Although I'm probably transparent even without others being transparent to me. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Although yeah, I really look forward to hanging out in person much more frequently without having to worry about COVID-19 and so on.
Yeah. Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yes, yes. I actually I have very good friends, and I mean, number wise, so I have a lot of friends, and I think I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing. So I hang out with like many different type of people. Like so that's ranging like very different people. Like I have like friends. I have a friend who is who has a like car dealership. I have a friend who is a lawyer. I have a friend who is a doctor. So there are like different types of friends, and I learn like I learn a lot from them, and that's very good. And I'm happy with the number of friends that they have.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yes and no. I'm happy overall. I'm not happy that I moved to Atlanta recently and then everything went online. So the number of close friends that I have that are within reach is not as much as I would like. But there's all these online calls, and hopefully we'll be able to travel again soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed to that. Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have? So the way here's a problem solving. So I always ask myself, this is a very common thing you hear from me in a meeting. So do I want more close friends or do I want fewer, is how I try to answer that question, right? Mm-hmm. And what would I do with fewer close friends? No, I think I definitely don't want fewer close friends. I think, and do I want more? Yeah. And, those of us who have had children, it's a sort of key point in life when a new set of friends come in, typically, because there's some, at least in Britain, and I'm sure in most countries, there are social arrangements so that you meet all the other new parents and the school parents, and that's really kind of interesting because you get new, very close friends there. And I guess maybe many of my close friends would say, yes, well, if he, I don't devote huge amounts of efforts to, keeping in touch with people. So my longtime friends will receive a random 2-line email after 3 years, and I still call that person a close friend, and then we'll have a sputter of discussion, which will be great fun, and then we'll get it back in touch again in 2 or 3 years. That seems to me worth keeping.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yeah, I yes and no. Well, I don't. I'm happy with the friends that I have. I wish I could spend more time with the friends that are further away, that are in Greece, which I love very much. And distance and COVID now has made everything very difficult. Mm-hmm. So yes, I'm with the number, not as much with the in-depth relationship in the past few years.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
I'm happy with the number of close friends I have. One of my closest friend is pretty sick, so I'm pretty worried about that. But otherwise, I'm happy with the number of close friends I have. I hope it keeps increasing though.
Yeah. Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yeah. yeah, it's, I have very few close friends. I'm very happy. I mean, I'm basically, I basically can talk about anything to them. I'm not a particularly social friendly guy. I'm a lot more into, I can talk to 1,000 people, 100 people than to many people one-on-one. You know, this thing, present thing notwithstanding, it's typically quite hard for me to actually, I mean, some people have that, the people skills, the ability to just make an individual feel at home, as if you are so interested in hearing what they're saying and you would like to say everything that you have in your mind. I can do that for groups. I can't do it for individuals. I only few individuals I have who are close friends who are like that for me. So I'm happy with, I mean, I don't feel that, again, as I said earlier, I'm like one of the probably, generally everything is good kind of people in the sense, I don't have really, if I have to do it all over again, it's not clear to me that I would do anything that much different. And so, including friends, I certainly don't have a large number of friends, but the ones I do, I'm quite happy that, you know, I can relate to them, I can connect with them.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
I suppose not in these times. I'm happy with the number of friends I have, but not how much I've been interacting with them and how close they are. Yeah, so we have good friends in Pittsburgh. I wish I had seen my friends from grad school more recently, or even talked to them, which also hasn't happened that much, because usually conferences are for that, and conferences become quite different. There isn't as much of the social aspect, or at least I haven't been able to leverage that as much. I guess I haven't tried to socialize at the virtual conferences as much as I probably should have. So yeah, I hope we get back to normal and I can see older and more recent friends in person. So I think kind of virtual get-togethers are better than nothing, but still kind of, maybe I just need to get used to them. So yes and no, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the getting used to them, maybe the end is in sight. Maybe you don't have to get used to them.
I hope so. I hope so.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yes. And I should say the number of close friends I have is quite small. but I mentioned before that I'm not a terribly social person, actually. And so I'm quite happy with the number of close friends I have, actually. Yeah. I don't know, like, I mean, I like people. I'm not a misogynist, but I don't so strongly feel the need for like social interaction. Yeah.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
So this is one of these really interesting the short answer is, I think, yes. The longer answer is, I've always struggled with I've struggled with the definition of close. So it's very easy for me. So I consider everyone my friend always. And so I will come back from a coffee shop and I've like talked to the barista for like 5 minutes and I'll be like, oh, I have this new friend. I'm like a 5-year-old, right? Who's like, everyone is their new friend. That's like how I operate in this world. And I love this. And so like in Urbana at one point, I somehow just ended up always on the same ladies bus route for like almost a month. And so like she and I chatted every single day. We were checking in on the status of her pregnancy, like how things were going. Like we were like, I was recommending cooking things to her, and she was talking about like some new foods that her doctor just told her she couldn't, whatever. And so I would come home and then I would be like, oh yeah, no, I just had a great chat with, this lady. She's my friend. And then like everyone else, like, she's not your friend. Like, are you gonna go hang out? And I'm like, I don't know, if she invited me to hang out, I'd hang out. Does that make us friends? And and so like close friends, I think, is sort of this thing where it's like, oh, these are the people that have like stood the test of time, maybe, or something like this. But even that is sort of shifts. So like the people that I talked to the most at any one point in my life have changed, and they potentially or probably will again. And then that thought is super emotionally depressing to me, because then I'm thinking about like, am I going to lose this friend? And so I think the answer is like, do I feel like there's a reasonable number? Do I feel good about the number of close friends I have? Yes, in that I have enough close friends both in and outside of academia that I feel like I have circles that I can escape, out of this world, and I have people that I can talk to in this world, and or people that were in this world and have left this world and have justifiable complaints about it and things like this. And so I have what I would consider sort of a sufficiently nice support network of people that I can sort of tap into depending on kind of what headspace I need to be in. But I also sort of always feel like there is something I never have that I've always lost something. So like in grad school, my first 2 years, I didn't know anybody, and I was like figuring my way through. And my default was not actually to befriend the computer scientists. My default was to go find normal people. And so,
hey, we're normal.
yeah, no, there was nothing wrong with computer scientists, but it was sort of that was work. I needed something. I needed another circle that wasn't work people, and so that was mostly people that were MFAs. So it was mostly people that were doing their masters in fine arts, and so I used to go to all the exhibitions and hang out in the studios with them and stuff like this. And I don't have that anymore. Like I still know those people, but like we've drifted apart. They, their job market is super hard, and they're trying to do art in all different kinds of places, and I don't catch up with them. And so when you say like, am I happy with the number of close friends? Like, yeah, but do I always sort of feel like I'm missing something? Like at various points in my life, did I have a group of close friends that were different from me in an important way that I no longer have? Like that I think is also true. And I worry sometimes about narrowing. I worry that too many of my friends have PhDs. Like that feels like a problem. That feels like the kind of thing that leads to potentially insular thinking. That's the kind of thing that's going to make me a less empathetic person in the long run. That leads, that too many of them are in tech. That means that I'm getting a skewed worldview, like things like this. And so I'm happy with all my friends, but I'm also always a little bit worried that I'm becoming, I'm bubbling in a way that if I'm not careful, might eventually turn me into something that I don't like, right? That I might become the kind of person that I currently think is not a good thing to be. So kind of a maybe complicated answer.
Yeah, makes sense. Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Wow, that's a good question. That's extremely intimate.
Agreed. Yes.
No, I think that as like probably many people you talk with, I work too much, and I wish I was better at scheduling. I think I wish I could like pretty regularly just schedule seeing people or being better about social things. Yeah, I think it's a really hard problem.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have many. I'm reasonably good at keeping one or two really good connections. but I get antsy in groups. As groups get larger, I get more anxious. So it's hard to, so it's hard to like get all the friends together at once and service all those relationships at the same time. So if having a big peer group means I have to service a bunch of like individual relationships, and that's hard. So I tend to have a pretty small core set.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
It's funny because I would always have said yes, and I think I'd still say yes. But in the last year, of course, like it's been harder to like maintain friendships, and especially I was going to do a horrible gender stereotype, but it's based on my partner. But she's better at keeping up with. Yeah, I shouldn't make these generalizations, but I guess I will talk about myself only, and I'll say that I'm, and some of my friends as well, we don't necessarily communicate unless we've got something to communicate about, which is perhaps not the best, because it's sometimes good just to be in touch, right? So, and that's something I think that you get often you get just because of physically coming together, but we haven't been doing that, so you have to plan to get together, and in that case, you've been missing out. So I am happy with the number of close friends I have, but I'm not happy with how much I've seen of them over the last 18 months.
Yeah, fair enough. I think a lot of people will likely be able to relate to that. Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
I have a philosophy that you are happy with the current state you are in, because that's what you sort of, that's what you created implicitly. So I'm very happy with whatever number of friends I have at the moment. It might not be sort of very small or very large, and I don't even sort of know how would I qualify close in this context, but I'm happy with the number of close friends as you described it that I have.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
No. I would say that's an easy question to say no to. There was a New York Times article maybe 10 years ago where it was talking about how much harder it gets to make close friendships with age. And I really felt identified with that. The way that it articulated friendships, it said that something like it comes from frequent random interactions with somebody. Mm-hmm. So you bump into them unscheduled, basically, randomly unscheduled. Yeah.
Repeat interactions unscheduled. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and when you're in school, it's really easy to do that. And in grad school, I made some close friends that way. But now, especially post kids, everything is so structured and scheduled, and I find it hard. And I'm a person who, for a close friendship, it's really about kind of getting to an emotional level that's pretty deep. So I don't know. I think that I find it hard to have superficial close friendships, and yeah, it's hard. To be honest, it's been one of the challenges that I found in life. I just think about circling back to this, but Ben Tasker we talked about earlier, who was my best friend really, and we went through grad school and built that bond, but then we stayed so close for so many years. And when he died, it was a huge loss for me, because I felt like I really could not recover that piece. And so that's been a hard piece in life. After having kids, a lot of friends that you build,
get aligned through having children similar ages. And we've been lucky to make some close friends that way. So that's been a nice addition to my life, but I still feel like I haven't exceeded, or met my goals, my personal goals yet. I don't know that I do the activities that are necessary to make that happen. So probably on me. Long answer.
No, but deep and thoughtful. So thank you. I personally didn't know Ben that well. I just seen him a couple of times at conferences, but just the outpour of connections after he passed away suggested that he clearly had deep relationships with people that he had touched over the years. So
yeah. Thanks for saying that.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yes. And I'll tell you why, because so by the way, my guess is people who encounter me think of me as an extrovert. I'm actually not an extrovert. Well, I kind of am an extrovert, but it's more of a, when it comes to social situations, I much more enjoy having a one-on-one conversation with someone, or a one-on 2 or 3 conversation with someone. Once it gets bigger than that, it feels more like a performance, right? So I enjoy teaching because I enjoy the performance of teaching to 348 students at a time, and engaging them in the thing that I care about. But the energy is not coming from the people and the party. It's coming from the being able to just sort of bring them along with something. And that's very different from we're having a social interaction. When I think about friendship, it's a small number of people with whom you talk about things that you care about, and they talk to you about things that they care about. And you don't need 20 of those. You don't need 10 of those. You just need a few. People who get you and that you're basically investing time in, and they're investing time in you. And so, yes, I've been lucky enough to have had a lot of really good friends in different parts of my life. And I'm very happy with them. And I hope they're happy with what I brought to the relationship as well.
Are you happy with the number of close friends you have?
Yeah, but I don't have very many close friends. But I'm not unhappy about the fact that I don't have many close friends.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I get a lot of meaningful social interactions just from my work. And students are very endearing, and they kind of feel like my friends as well. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I know what you mean.